Hi, my name is Christopher Mendoza and welcome to the Mini RocketBox Plus edition of the lift plate. We're going to be speaking a little bit about that here today in this video. Now, the lift plate's a pretty interesting piece of technology for the RocketBox in which it actually is utilized to lift up our cones a little bit further to keep them even. So what is that going to look like, you're asking? Well, say I drop my cones into my bottom tray and I actually have one that sits down a little bit lower than the other here, or one that goes down a little bit lower than this. This lift plate on the inside here, where we put the bottom tray in there, will adjust each and every single cone to be level and at the same level. Now, every single cone is handmade, however, so you are going to see variances in height, but this is the one thing we can do to keep everything as even as we can from the crutch up, which is really exciting and one of the beautiful things behind the lift plate itself. Now, the lift plate comes to us already installed into the machine. Now, I have this kind of preset where I have some of these bolts sitting out. You should also receive an Allen wrench with your machine too, with the 1/8 size Allen wrench that comes along with it to be able to get these bolts further out. The lift plate comes installed also too with the 109 factory default riser bolts. Now, with the factory default riser bolts, these particular ones will always stay on the inside of your machine. They will never come out of the machine. As you can see here, we have the 4 factory default bolts here that are set for the 109mm cone size. Now, each and every single Mini RocketBox Plus also comes equipped with the riser bolt set in a bag that came with your machine. Now, each and every single one of these bolts have a different purpose to them. So, we have the A's and the B's. The A's are going to be used for 98mm special tray, and the B's are going to be utilized for the 84mm tray here. We add these to the factory default bolts, and we take them out if we don't need them to. So I'm going to install my 84s or my B riser bolts into this tray here to show you a little bit of how this goes. When we're installing, it's pretty easily put, just putting them in flat and just making sure we get them screwed down appropriately. If they go in at an angle, be sure that you take it out and make sure that it doesn't go in at an angle and cross threads any of these bolts here. And then for our last one. All right. So our 84mm are now installed and we are ready to reinstall our lift plate. Now, I like to take my bolts out of the lift plate prior to putting it in. It makes my life a little bit easier. When we put this lift plate in, we're gonna put it in at a tilt, drop it into the machine, and this makes things very easy when it comes to installing this lift plate again. Try to get everything lined up as best as you can here by eyeball. And I am going to screw these in here as best I possibly can with my hands here just to get them set, and then I'll finish up with the Allen wrench here. To make sure that each and every single one of these is tight and screw down all of the way is very important as such. We're now set for our 84mm bottom tray to be put into our machine, and you can reset this to even the 98 and even back down to the factory default again to the 109mm to be able to run that bottom tray as well. Thank you very much for tuning in again with the lift plate here with the Mini RocketBox Plus. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact the client services line. Take care.